again, you know, a lot of these riders are new to racing, so they haven't potentially got the experience to quite determine what is going on in regards to the rain and how that might affect them and might affect their riding types.
And look, that challenge goes right to the top. Those first few drops of rain, you just don't know how slippery the track is until you have a moment. It's a nervous time. So like I say, the riders are going to be seeing that. At this stage, I can't see that the track is actually damp. We're just seeing a few little drops. So I think they're going to be absolutely fine, but it does put that element of doubt in the rider's mind.
That's exactly right, although I don't think that any of them seem to have backed off.
No, well, I certainly wouldn't be at the moment.
Ryan is still doing in the 103s, 103.4. So he's
that was actually his best lap. His last lap was actually a 65.2.
Ah, indeed. So they have slowed down somewhat.
Maybe he's thinking, oh, that's right, I can't break out. I better back it off. But comfortable lead. Look like Graham Cunningham put a move back on Matt Allen, I think. So Graham running third. But at this stage, given that the only rider to have broken out of the 64 is Ryan Chen, it means Ben Lydon really would be our leader, given the gap between them is only 2 seconds. And Ryan has picked up a 10-second penalty for that lap. Having said which, it doesn't matter because Ben Lydon's looking for a way back through. I don't know what Ryan's thinking, but he's backed it right off.
Indeed, it could be those spots of rain that we mentioned earlier.
Oh, unique move. I don't often see that. Passing on the outside the run into turn one. But it can also be the pressure of leading, Mark. When you're probably not too familiar with it, you can lose your toe and your momentum. And it could be that's what it is. He got out there by himself and started to...
as he makes the pass back into the lead.
Yeah, well, it's sometimes what you need, a bit of a kick up the backside to say, hang on, refocus on what's going on here.
That's it. And the other thing is he could also actually be thinking about this race and sort of realising that he was starting to pull a gap and questioning his times. So it might be that he's actually let himself fall back to a point where he feels he's comfortable to not get those penalties.
Could be all of those things.
If only you could be in the rider's head.
Well, I guess all we can do, Mark, is try and imagine when we have been in those situations and what might be going through your head. But all of that, of course, is speculation. But right now, he's put his head back down. His last lap through was a 65.0. Ben Lydon a 66.0. So that could have been that bit of a pass or change of position between the two. But certainly winding down now, only 2 laps to go. I think Ryan's got this pretty well done and dusted, I'd say. Got a nice little gap there now over Ben.
Bearing in mind, though, that he does still have that 10-second penalty.
Absolutely.
Which I believe would actually put him in 6th place.
Problem is, none of them know that.
I do remember a conversation I had a while ago, and we were trying to work out just how far ahead you would have to go with a 10-second penalty every lap to still be able to win the race.
Well, I guess in an 8-lap race, that's 80 seconds, isn't it? Which is a long way. Last lap board now for Ryan Chen. Great to see newcomers to the sport picking up their first win, Mark. It's a good feeling, isn't it? Seeing the checkered flag. It's often something people have been dreaming of doing for a long time.
Definitely. It's definitely one of the enjoyable aspects of it. It's always nice to finish the race.
That's the first thing you want to achieve. Absolutely. Come back without too much paint on your bike. Other riders paint that is. But yes, seeing the checkered flag for the first time is a good feeling. And Ryan Chen, would say, is about to do that. Having said which, he will cop that 10-second penalty, so he's not going to be the outright winner, but still feels good to head the field. And he will pick up that checkered flag, and I'm sure he feels absolutely fantastic for it. Good ride too from Ben Lydon. Picking up the race win and P2 outright. And another great ride from Graham Cunningham too, getting the better of Matt Allen. Chris Eaton on the, what's that, CBR 600 for Chris?
Yes, that's correct. Chris, I think, came second in the challenge last year.
That was the handicap.
Grid. Yep, the reverse grid handicap.
He did. That's coming up tomorrow, so that'll be an interesting one. There was a lot of fun last year with Carla Monday, actually, who managed to go 4 seconds faster than her previous best to pick up the win.
That's exactly right, and that's one of those things with the reverse grid, kind of what we were mentioning before about the racing as well, that having those people behind you and come past you and being able to follow someone that is faster than you, and the reverse grid gives you a really good opportunity to do that. And she, as you mentioned, managed to find that 4 seconds, which is a big jump.
That's a huge jump. I guess for people who haven't raced, it's a bit hard to understand what the difference between a 4 second or what a 4 second gap means, or difference in lap time. Most of us work all year to go half a second lap faster.
That's exactly right.
Good ride, Ryan Chen. I'm sure you'll be delighted with that. And so too Ben Lydon, having a fantastic race, mate.
Again, though, it'll be interesting for Ryan when he finds out about his 10-second penalty.
Yeah, take the shine off it a bit, but as I say, there's...
it does in some respects, but also, I think that it, in terms of progress, it shows that you're really getting quick and that you're really finding that point where you're ready to move on up to the 600s in his case.
That's right. And look, for a lot of people who are starting out racing, there's a lot of doubt. They don't know how they'll go. They're full of people in the pits who are they've been watching going around for a long time, and you don't know if you're going to be making a fool of yourself. And there's a lot that Ryan's just put to rest. He's realised that he can do it.
Exactly right. And despite the fact that he on paper will not get that placing, he still crossed the line in first place.
Absolutely,
that's still an achievement. So the number one achievement effectively. So he'll be very happy with that, hopefully.
That actually completes the second set of sprint races for today. So we're back to the Tassie Juniors again. The drops are getting a little bit heavier. Actually starting to see a bit of coloration on the bitumen. Certainly not enough yet for you to be backing off, but unlike during the race, we can actually see it falling now and see where the drops have hit the bitumen.
That's exactly right, and again, that's got to play with your mind. It's I don't think there's going to be a lot of rain. I believe the forecast was for 0.3 of a millimetre. But as you mentioned, you can see it, and when you can see it, it's there, and you start questioning it.
That's right. It just puts that element of doubt in your mind. I doubt any of these juniors have been on a wet racetrack before, so that's going to be a big question for them on how they handle it. Like Tom Turner down there is on full slicks on bike 66. Now I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem unless you get a very, very wet track with lying water. I think the extra bit of tread the other tyres have won't really help that much.
That's exactly right, and it's worth remembering as well that bikes have been circulating this track all day, so there's quite a bit of warmth in the track, and so while we see it in the pits, it will be evaporating slightly quicker on the track.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the temperature is here, but it's quite mild. Not a lot of breeze to speak of.
I think that's because you're standing in the aircon, Chris.
It could well be. It could well be. I don't see anyone down there looking too cold, although some people have got some bigger coats on now. I was outside before in a t-shirt. You're in a t-shirt, Mark, and I can't remember feeling too cold, but as you say, I spent most of the day standing in an air-conditioned box.
The life of a retired racer, Chris.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Stand up here and bore everyone to tears. Not that cooler weather is bad for racing. In fact, it's often desirable, isn't it? You don't want really cold, but you do get pretty hot under those leathers, and you are working hard racing a bike.
That's exactly right. And it's cooler weather also allows you to make slightly more horsepower, usually, so helps in that aspect too.
Something we often talk about is how physical riding bikes actually is. I guess for those that haven't raced a bike before, it looks like you might just be sitting there pulling on the brake lever and turning the throttle, but there's a lot of changing in body position. There are a lot of G-forces, hard under brakes, a lot of force through your arms, holding your head up with a heavy helmet on.
That's exactly right.
Big workout for the legs too, isn't it?
That's exactly right. And the thing to remember as well is that through that entire process, you're constantly thinking and assessing and making judgment calls through your entire lap.
And really,
so
for
both
most
mentally and physically, it can be quite a workout.
That's right. For most racers, it might look like they're sitting on their seat, putting a lot of weight through it, but most of the weight's going through their legs into the foot pegs. So it's like doing a bit of a stationary squat for 8 laps or more. So you can actually be quite fatigued in the legs by the end of the day. Good to see David Coward having his first race meet there on bike 60 at the back of the grid. Can only just touch the ground.
It is a fantastic class, this. It's great fun to watch.
It is. Ready for a start. Ollie Skinner's been the man to beat and launches beautifully on the little KTM. Tom Turner's been the one who's been really impressing me on the R150. He's got Brodie Curtis, who's fired it up the inside. He'll actually head Tom for the rundown into turn 2, but of course it's Ollie Skinner who's taken up his customary position at the head of the field and already gapping them comfortably.
And notice there the lack of adhesion flag is out, indicating that the rain settling on the track might be a little bit heavier over there.
Yeah, just to add that extra element of doubt to the riders already, well, a little bit of concern they may already have, but for those of us that have been around a bit, you probably wouldn't be backing off too much at the moment. I certainly wouldn't be.
It. And look, it's a good experience for these kids as well to see those flags out there and to get a hang of what they mean and how they affect the race and how they affect their surroundings.
That's right. Ollie Skinner doing it very comfortably. Sister Chloe was running second, but she's now been overtaken on the back straight by Brodie Curtis, and Tom Turner hard on Brodie's back tyre. Unfortunately, Brodie ran off into the dirt on the last session, kept it upright, followed the railing all the way around to rejoin at the back of the grid. But Tom Turner, as I said, has been putting in a great ride so far today. It'd be good to see him actually latch onto the back of Brodie's bike and see if he can challenge him at the towards the end of the race. Bit of a lonely ride out there for Ollie at the front. Mark, he's doing it very, very nicely. In fact, what do we got? About 5 seconds a lap faster.
With 3 laps remaining. So you've got 5 laps this race, is that correct?
Yeah, they are shortened because of the slower lap times. Looking forward to seeing this class continue to build. The junior class is, as you're saying before, it's great to watch, and it's certainly the future of our sport as well. It's good to see kids getting involved in road racing early.
Definitely, and I think that already shows this year that a number of the competitors have moved up already or planning to move into their into the larger classes, moving on into the lights class.
Yeah, Chad Wiley.
And I believe also into 600s.
Oh, of course, with Oscar O'Donovan.
Oscar O'Donovan.
Yeah.
Yep.
So two junior races from, only a few race meetings back, really. Brodie Curtis just pulling out there a little bit on Tom Turner. Not much in it between them, but it's just enough that Brodie's slowly edging away.
But indeed, it's the fantastic thing about this class is it's rather cheap to run in, and it's a really good introduction for these kids to learn what the sport of road racing is all about.
Yeah, Rod and I were saying earlier how we've observed how these kids started out looking like they really were a bit shaky out there, and now they look like proper little road racers.
That's exactly right.
It's happened quite quickly.
And as you said, hopefully that continues on to next year. I believe there's already a few newcomers to the class potentially racing at this event, or there was. So hopefully next year we'll find a few additional people on the grid.
Well, it'd be good to see it. As you said, it's a cost-effective way to start racing. These little bikes don't cost a lot of money. You can pick them up for $1,000, $1,500. Probably do most of the year on one set of tyres.
Definitely.
A bit of costs involved to start up with. Buying some safety gear, a set of leathers and some boots and a good helmet. I'd never ever recommend taking the cheap option there. Safety is so
that's
important.
it. But that's also the good thing about the purchase price of the motorcycles being so low, is that you can come into here and spend the money where it matters on the safety gear that is protecting you.
There are no end of people around in the paddock who are willing to lend a hand. So if anyone is out there who wants to know a bit about racing, you can either jump onto our website, find some contact details there. So that's srct.org.au, or simply come down to the pits and introduce yourself and have a talk to some people. Checker flag time for Ollie Skinner, another very, very convincing win. Oh, gee, I tell you what, Brodie Curtis, massive slide out of the seat and saved it. That's as big as I've seen through there.
Only just managed to keep it on the tarmac too. He was almost in the dirt there.
Did you see the end of that?
I did see the end of that, yes.
Unbelievable.
And great composure too, to manage to save that. He's shaking his hand there. He's...
I don't think I've seen a bike have a slide like that for a long time through there on the stops. I'm surprised there wasn't smoke coming off the back tyre. It was almost full lock and saved it. So I don't know if that was because there's a tiny bit of moisture on the ground. I doubt it. Having a look at that, it looks like a pretty much dry track to me.
Pretty much. And it's one of those things, again, we'd probably need to talk to him personally to find out exactly what happened. It could be that he had a bit too much lean angle and touched something down. He might have got on the throttle a bit too hard, although with these bikes there's not a great deal of power to break traction there.
No, I was just looking where it happened. He was certainly a reasonable way out of the corner, so it's not as if it was a huge lean angle there. So I don't know, maybe it is a little bit damper up there than we
the other thing is that these bikes run very skinny tyres, so their contact patch is a little smaller than some of the bigger bikes.
True, the 5 horsepower probably is a good balancing factor in that. I don't know what these bikes would make. What would it be?
I believe they're about 10 or 15 horsepower.
10 or 15, is it?
Yeah.
I see him shaking his head. Massive moment. That would have been a sight for Tom Turner, who was following. He must have been expecting to have to avoid a bike on the ground. But wow, that was fun to watch.
Was indeed, and once again, as we said, such a fantastic class, such a fantastic start to these kids' road racing careers.
Well, we do have Taz Superbike up next. Now, I'm wondering how many people will actually go out for this, because conditions are a little sketchy. I know a lot of people are trying to conserve themselves for tomorrow. That's what the weekend's all about for these guys. So we'll see how many Superbikes actually line up. Looks like Wade Schrader down there is geared up and ready to go out. Who's that talking to? Kyle Buckley. He's got a helmet on. Oh, or is that a rider coming back in? It is.
Yes, that's one of the juniors there. As I say, it does seem very quiet in the pits.
Yeah, so question is, if there's only the one rider... Oh no, Kane Bowman going out.
Yep.
So this, of course, is the last race of the day for each group. And given what the weather's doing, I wouldn't be surprised if a few people decide to sit it out We've got 2 bikes at least rolling up. And 2 guys who went head to head in the last race.
Number 51 coming into the...
Oh, that's Simon
pits
Price.
here.
So that was Simon, who started out in Formula Baskerville, and all 3 of these guys had a really, really good race in race 2. So I think the faster guys are looking like they're going to sit this out and wait for the 2 hour tomorrow. But these three riders did have a lot of fun in race 2, so hopefully they'll be able to do the same again here in race 3. A lot of our superbike riders this year either have sat out because of the issues with COVID and waiting for next year to get back into full swing, or, as I say, some others are simply sitting out this race because they have the eyes on the prize tomorrow of the Motorworks Michelin 2 hour.
That's it, and you know, the 2 hour is one of our, is pretty much our biggest event of the year. It's the premier event, and there'd be nothing worse than to go out on the last race of the day before under slightly questionable circumstances, with the rain potentially coming down and binning it, and then being out for the count. That's the last thing any of those riders want. So
that's right, and we saw it can happen before. We saw Matthew Carey fall off his bike. It wasn't the 2 hour bike, but it goes to show that even though you're out there just to circulate, get your mind in the game, you can take it easy, but you can still fall off.
That's exactly right. But I'm sure these 3 gentlemen will still have a fantastic race.
Well, maybe more so, because they don't have to worry about anyone else. It's almost like a bit of a private race between them, and they had a really great dice, as I said, in race 2. So I think it was actually Kane who did win out of these 3. I know Kurt Sushams was out there in race 2 and won comfortably, but
I'm going to say I suspect that they are not lining up on their proper grid positions.
No, I don't think so.
But what an opportunity to take pole position.
Good feeling. That's what it feels like, is what they're saying.
That's exactly right.
So Wade Schrader been getting terrible starts.
Take the opportunity while it's there.
So it's Kane Bowman who will actually get away first. Wade Schrader getting much better start than he has in race 1 and 2. He did have to hunt the field down in race 2, so be interesting to see what happens between these 2 guys. Had a great dice in race 2, as I keep saying. Simon Price would have been, I think, preferred to be on the back wheel of them.
He did, I noticed, have a bit of a moment with the start there. He seemed to bog it down just a little bit.
Wade Schrader's R1 showing it has got the legs on their older GSX R1000. In fact, what's the difference in age? Oh, it's only 4.
They're fairly close. 4
No,
years.
sorry. I think I'm looking at Simon Price's. So 6 years. Wade Schrader has a 2007 R1, and Kane's is a 2001 GSX R1000.
The rain is definitely coming down a bit heavier now.
Yeah, so the guys are going to be really careful here. It's not good at all to be out there on slicks. In fact, is it going to be called wet? It's they want to be very, very careful. Both these guys are running in the 2 hour tomorrow, so we need to, they need to be thinking about what they're here for. It'd be a real shame to see somebody fall off just because of a sprinkle of rain in a sprint race.
And by the looks of the way they're going around turn 4 there, they have all noticed the rain coming down. It's probably getting rather heavy on their visors now.
Yeah, it's not a nice feeling at all, as we were saying before, Mark. You really you don't know until you get a moment where the group is. We do know that Baskerville is quite a groupy track in the wet, but they're still out there on slick tyres. But Wade at the moment doing a great job. Unfortunately, he won't often get, or hasn't often had a chance to lead a race, and these are the worst conditions you could do it in. It'd be nice if he had a look over his shoulder, because he would realise he could back it off a little bit.
That's it, and I think from those first couple of laps, it's very clear Kane's definitely backed off a little bit as he almost went a bit wide there through turn 2.
Of course, as you back it off, you're further away from getting any feedback from your bike to know what the conditions are really like. I often say to Rod that, or we often talk about what it's like to be riding fast, and you do get good feedback from your bike, and the tyres talk to you and let you know how much grip there is. But the further you get or back your pace off, the less information you're getting.
That's exactly right, and also, as we said before, how much this is a mental game as much as a physical game. You start doubting yourself and doubting what you're feeling, and sometimes amplify the feedback that you get without that actually being the case, if you understand what I'm saying there.
No, that's exactly right. But so far, look, all the guys navigating their way around, and that's pretty much what you're doing. None of them have anyone breathing down their neck, so they're really just feeling it out, and that's the right way to do it.
And look, the flip side as well is that while the rest of the field has decided to sit it out due to the conditions, I haven't looked at the weather report for tomorrow, but these guys, on the other hand, are getting some valuable experience in dicey conditions, which could stand them stead tomorrow.
That is so true, and as I was saying earlier, Mark, it's all about confidence, this game, and if these guys go out there tomorrow thinking, oh, there could be a shower during the 2 hour, they're going to be feeling like, well, actually I had a race in the wet yesterday and I felt pretty good about it.
That's exactly right.
I must say, doing a great job so far. I don't envy what they're going through at the moment. It's not a nice feeling with they can see it's a damp track, it's not a wet track. And these slick tyres do like to be kept warm, so you're forced into still pushing you enough to keep some heat in your tyres. Lap times, Wade Schrader 106. It's still pretty good.
Yeah, I do believe he's doing 104s before, so he has come down a little bit. But he's also got no need to really push at the moment. As you mentioned, he's got no one breathing down his neck. So
well, consider that the Formula Baskerville minimum time is a 64. And he's gone out there with rain falling or a shower falling and almost bettered the minimum time for Formula Baskerville. So that shows he's still riding quite well. And again, as I've said previously, for a lot of road riders who come out here, they'd be very, very happy with the lap time that Wade Schrader is currently setting. 64 is still getting around there pretty well on a damp track with slicks on.
That's exactly right. And once again, he's building his confidence as he does this. So that's the other side, is that when he goes back out on dry tyres and on dry session, he's likely to go faster again.
He might argue the point on that one. He's probably white knuckles. I have been in races in this situation where I've had the front slowly glide away from me and then just come back in the nick of time and not come back in the nick of time. It's a horrible feeling.
That's it. That my statement before, I think, is down to whether he finishes the race upright without any moments.
Yeah, backing it off a bit further, doing a 107 now, Kane Bowman 117. But, like I said, he's got no one behind him. If he's looked over his shoulder, just circulate. He's doing that very nicely at the moment. In fact, not too far off, coming up behind third place Simon Price. So, a difference in lap times, 105 from Wade, 120 from Simon, so 15 seconds a lap different. Should be there in about quarter of a lap if my maths is...
There you go, his first race on pole, his first race leading, his first race lapping.
Exactly, we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed for him that keeps it together for another 2 laps. But doing a great job of it at the moment. All of them are. So coming around to pick up the last lap board now, still looking quite comfortable. I'm really, really impressed with Wade in this ride. I think it's, from where we're standing, I can't see that he's put a foot wrong. I don't want to put the mockers on him.
No, don't give him the commentator's curse.
But it goes through again, 65.4.
So he's actually picked up a bit of pace there. He was doing 67 a few laps ago. And he definitely looks very smooth.
Look, he does.
Which is key in these conditions.
Yeah, I still don't want to speak too soon, but all 3 riders have impressed me. They've stuck at it. And we'll all come away feeling that little bit more confident after this. So as long as he doesn't do a Brodie Curtis on us. Coming through the chute for the last time. Checkered flag being readied. And I think a very, very well-deserved win to Wade Schrader. He must be feeling delighted after that. I know there weren't many bikes on track, but I thought he rode exceptionally well. Look,
it would have been stressful in some respects, but I'm sure he also enjoyed that, and definitely enjoyed the result that he got out of it. It's yeah, challenging but rewarding.
Just looking for second place, Wade Schrader. He's just going up over Suckers as we speak. Simon Price completing his last lap, or did he may have received the checkered flag? Okay.
Yeah, got lapped just at the end there.
So that's absolutely fantastic to see.
So with that one, I might leave you, Chris, because we've got Supersport 600s coming up next, and after that we've got the Lights GP and Lights Production again, and I've got a few guys that I'd like to assist getting out for that one.
No problem at all. Thanks for your time. It's always good to have a chat.
No, you're welcome. It's enjoyable coming up here, and as I mentioned before, I wish I could be out on circuit. Had other priorities in the week leading up to this event, but glad to be here nonetheless.
Look forward to seeing you back out there.
Me too, and yeah, hopefully tomorrow will be a fantastic day. Obviously the 2 hour, the premier event for our club for the year. It's going to be an exciting one. As you mentioned, a bit different with COVID this year, and the locals really stand a chance in many respects, and I'm sure everyone will have a fantastic day.
Without a doubt. I think if you can make it out here, you really should. It's free entry. It's going to be a really, really good race to watch. So that starts at 2 o'clock. But Mark, once again, thank you. I know you need to get moving, so enjoy the chat, and look forward to seeing you back out there.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
See you, mate. So just waiting for bikes to come out for the next race, being the Tas Supersport. This is being called up at the moment, so just until they come out on grid, I might have a sit down and a quick drink as well, and come back shortly to watch the Supersport bikes. Okay, our 600cc machine's on track. Once again, quite a depleted field. Same reason as the Superbike. A lot of them looking towards the 2 hour tomorrow afternoon. Not wanting to take too many more chances, particularly on a slightly damp track. But some of the key players still out there, which is going to make it very, very interesting. Matthew Long, I can see back on board, and I know he loves the wet conditions. Not that it's really wet, it's just very, very slightly damp, but enough just to add that element of doubt. You don't want to be going out there 100% or pushing 100% from lap one. So you guys still have to find their way around, or feel their way around. John O'Hughes out there, no doubt, or no surprise I should say. He's, as I keep saying, a very keen racer, and also doesn't mind the sketchy conditions. Martin Long, Matthew's dad, having a ride. And Daniel Briggs, another one who doesn't mind these conditions either. Often see him on a ride day going out when other people don't want to, when track conditions are not absolutely ideal. And really that's, I think, credit to him, because you can't always pick and choose your weather for a race. And it helps to be strong in all conditions. So this one will be interesting. Ready for a start. Red light is on. Racing, and Matthew Long, nice start, and big wheelie off for Daniel Briggs, and a great launch. He gets himself up in a second place right there behind Matthew Long. John O'Hughes down the inside of both of them. Daniel Briggs down the inside of Matthew Long. So already people not taking taking all the chances really. John O'Hughes has decided he's not going to hold back at all. Leads the field very comfortably for the first time up over Suckers. He wants to be careful because, they all do. They've got the big race ahead of them tomorrow. But it's John O'Hughes, Daniel Briggs, Matthew Long, who's probably, to my mind, doing the smartest thing and just feeling his way around. But having said that, John O'Hughes might be feeling perfectly comfortable in what he's doing. So too Daniel Briggs, but at the moment the orders change because of these conditions. Matthew Long was comfortably leading in, or he won both race 1 and 2 comfortably. Now he's been relegated to 3rd. John O'Hughes out in front. Got a comfortable gap there over Daniel Briggs, probably a good 4 or 5 seconds just on that first lap. So John O feeling quite comfortable there at the moment. He would be worth him having a look back when he can, just to see that there's no one right on his tail. He might just be able to back that off that one little bit. Spots of rain still coming down. I can see spots falling on the glass of the commentary box here. I should also add that Mark had to leave us. Still waiting for Rod to come back and join here in commentary, but for the moment I'll just try and keep you informed and give you an idea of what's going on track. As I say, the spots of rain are still coming down. John O'Hughes still would appear to be pushing. First flying lap goes through at 62.0, so he's obviously way off what his dry time would be, but a 62 is still a fairly good lap. He must be feeling quite confident. I assume he'd be on slicks, and that's a good time for a track with showers falling. Matt Long now right up behind Daniel Briggs, so I know Matthew is a very good wet weather rider. Having said which, he's not on full wet tyres, he's on treaded race tyres, so it's quite different. You typically feel your way around more with the rear tyre than the front in these conditions. Just because using the horsepower of the bike, you can actually start to get them to spin up a little bit on the back, and how much grip you get from the rear wheel is a good indication as to what the conditions are like. Better than trying to find out with the front tyre, where you don't often get second chances. John O'Hughes absolutely streaking them here at the moment. Goes through 62.5, so he's backed it off by half a second a lap, but massive lead now over Matthew Long, who's got past on Daniel Briggs. Daniel looking for a way up the inside in turn 1 and will do so. I tell you what, he's taking some chances. But he gets it done. Nice move. It's always heart and mouth stuff when you have a slightly damp track on dry tyres. But at this stage, all riders doing very, very well. But John O'Hughes, wow, look at that. He goes through suckers as the other guys are approaching the run up the hill. It's going to become close to the length of the back straight lead. He's doing, well, 4 seconds a lap faster than everyone else in the field. He's absolutely loving these conditions. As Mark was saying earlier, this is exactly what riders need to give them confidence going into the 2 hour. If it does start showering tomorrow and John O'Hughes is on board, he's going to be saying, I know what this feels like, and I can go straight into lapping at 62-second laps when everyone else is going to be feeling their way around or thinking about coming in for wets. Daniel Briggs just holding off Matthew Long. Matthew looking for a run up the inside now into turn 1. I don't think there's enough room there for him. No, there's not. So great little battle going on between these two, despite the fact there's only 4 bikes on track. Matthew Long's dad, Martin, just crosses the line, a fair way back in last place, but still sticking it out. Matthew Long just out drags Daniel Briggs up the hill now into suckers. Gee, I tell you what, they want to be careful going into suckers. Bike gets very light over there, and on a wet track you really do hold your breath. So John O'Hughes just coming off the end of the back straight now as the other two, Matthew and Daniel, just come onto the back straight. As I say, massive lead, 12 seconds. Jono goes through 64.7. Matthew now starting to pull away from Daniel a little bit, looking like probably a 1 second gap. Matthew obviously just starting to understand the conditions a bit more, getting more confidence, and pulling away from Daniel just that little bit. And as I keep saying, it's going to be gold for these guys tomorrow, because if they do get a few sprinkles of rain, they're going to be feeling very, very confident about what sort of pace they can run. They won't have to take those few laps to come up to pace like the rest of the field who haven't bothered to go out. So Matthew pulling away quite comfortably now from Daniel. I think Daniel's going to be waving the white flag on that one. But the man at the front, John O'Hughes, not being challenged at all. 12 second lead. I think he can afford to really just coast around now. Be interesting to see lap time. His best was a 62 flat. Last time through 64.7. This time 65.4. So he's actually rolling out of it. Matthew, however, his fastest lap time 64.0, and this time through 62.3. So he's doing exactly the opposite. He's finding his feet becoming more and more comfortable, doing quite exactly the opposite race to John O'Hughes, but not enough laps left to make the gap of what is now 8 seconds. Certainly pulled him in 4 seconds, but what have we got? Only 2 laps remaining, so I think it's too much for Matt to do that. I think if Jono has a look over his shoulder, he'll probably see that the gap maybe have reduced a bit. In fact, I don't think he would. I don't think he'd even see Matt, because there isn't anywhere on the track where you can see a bike 8 seconds behind you. So Jono coming through this time to pick up the last lap board. He goes through and does a 63.0, so he's picked up the pace a little bit, probably because the showers have eased a bit. Matthew goes through at a 61.0, the fastest lap of the race. And I think what I'm saying is probably true, that the track is probably drying a little bit, and that light shower has stopped, so they're probably feeling like the grip's coming back to them a bit. They're feeling more confident. But I can't see the positions changing unless something goes very wrong for any of these guys. Jono is still out with a very, very comfortable lead, and Matthew certainly pulled out comfortably on Daniel Briggs as well. So Jono down the back straight for the last time. faultless display of riding. I'll tell you what, Matthew's certainly been pulling him in, but I think Jono knows that he's got it in the bag, so he's rolled out of it. And we'll go through to pick up a very, very nice race win. Matthew Long to 60.2 on his last lap, so he was feeling more and more at home on the damp track, and really, really good ride. So too Daniel Briggs. I don't know that Martin Long is still out there. Did he re-enter the pits? I think he might just be coming down the back straight now, is he? Yeah, he was out of sight. So Martin will round out the field just at the end of the back straight now, and we'll come around the chute to complete the last lap and finish race 3 for Supersport. So with that, I'm just going to have another very, very quick break, see if I can find somebody a bit more interesting than just myself to keep talking and keep people informed and entertained. I'll be back very shortly. Well, I was successful in finding somebody more interesting than myself to keep talking. I'm joined in the commentary by none other than Kyle Buckley. Welcome, Kyle.
Cheers. How you going?
Good. Welcome to sunny Tasmania.
Yep. Pretty well used to it now.
Yeah, I see you standing here in the puffer jacket, come down from Queensland.
Yeah. No, we've been same for the last couple of years now, so know exactly what to pack for.
It is the 2-hour weekend after all. We seem to manage this sort of weather every time. But look, great to have you here again. It's always a pleasure to have you here in Hobart at the 2-hour meeting. I know you're a double race winner.
Yeah, no, it's good to be back. I always enjoy coming down here and hanging out with all the guys and enjoy the great racing as well. So hopefully. The weather is a little bit nicer to us tomorrow, and we can get out there and put on a show.
Yeah, we did expect some stronger winds this afternoon, but at the moment, looking down here at the Motorworks motorcycles flags, they look pretty still. So I think the conditions are okay out there. You've just been out there, other than a few spots of rain. What's it like?
It's not too bad. It was really good this morning, but it has dropped off a little bit this afternoon, obviously. But I don't think this rain will affect the track too much for tomorrow. But I wouldn't like to be out there right now on a set of slicks, to be honest.
No, look, I was just saying the same. Watching those guys go around in the Superbike and 600, I think credit to them. They did a great job. It's a horrible feeling. I suppose just to give people who aren't familiar with you a bit of background on yourself. You've most recently been a competitor in Australian Superbike, racing with the BC Performance Kawasaki team. Prior to that, you were a Australian champion in 600.
Yeah, that's right. So, spent a couple of years with the Kawasaki team in the Superbike class, and after graduating from the 600s, and still on the lookout for a ride for next year. There's not too much kicking about at the moment, but speaking to a few guys and hoping to put something together for next year, and get the bum back on the seat, because as it has been for everyone, it's been a pretty tough year. So just trying to get things rolling again is pretty tough.
Yeah, we all know it's tough getting a seat at the top. It's a lot of competition there, a lot of very good riders. It's a tough gig, and unless you have money to throw into it.
Yeah, that's right. There's probably 15 or 20 good seats out there, and a good 80 or 100 riders that are good enough to fill them. So
exactly,
it's pretty cutthroat, but it's always been the same, and that's what makes it so cool when you can get on there. So it's yeah. Anyway, these guys look like they're about to kick off.
Yeah, bikes are grading up now for race 3 for the Lights GP and Lights Production. As we have said before, it's a combination of GP bikes and production bikes, 2 classes combined. Conditions are a bit sketchy out there. A damp track, Kyle. Most of the bikes out there on slicks. You said you wouldn't like to be there yourself. I know I wouldn't. It's a tough gig, isn't it? But
yeah, I'm sure these guys will sort it out.
This time it's actually Jesse Woods on the production bike who gets the whole shot and leads Liam Waters for the first time down through turn 2, but it's gently, isn't it? No one knows quite how hard to push in these opening laps.
No, that's right. You just got to do a few laps and find the grip, let it come to you, which can be slightly daunting, but...
Let it come to you but not pass you.
Yeah, that's right.
You need to be ready for it.
But yeah, they seem to be doing an all right job so far.
The toughest gig's probably for the lead rider because they have no one to gauge the pace off. And I've often said before that in conditions like this, you can see a little line coming off a wet tyre, which tells you the track is damp. Although at the moment, I think it's obvious enough. It's quite a dark surface.
It looks like it's right on that weird edge at the moment. It's almost dry enough to push, but you can see the little cracks in the bitumen are dry. But these guys look like they're getting a fair bit of power down. So
it does, but things can go wrong so quickly on these sort of conditions.
Yeah, but I've been speaking to a few of the guys down in the pits, and they seem pretty confident that there's a lot of grip around here in the wet. So and that's pretty obvious at the moment. They don't seem to be slowing down a whole lot. It is
a very grippy track in the wet. And what we're seeing at the moment, for the first time, is Liam Waters being challenged there in P2. Taran Ocean all over the back of him, but it's actually Jesse Woods who's doing a great job out in front on the production bike, who's actually got probably a 2-second lead now over Liam Waters. So they say wet weather racing is a good leveller, and I think we're seeing that right now. It's maybe the production bike's a better thing to ride in the wet.
Yeah, well, I assume the power delivery would be a little bit smoother than the Moto 3s and the 125, but yeah, still an inferior motorcycle. It's good to see him up the front having a go.
Doing a great job. It's actually starting to close up at the front, so might be in for a really, really good contest here. And further back, there's just I tell you what, bikes going left, right and centre. Heath Fielding there on 95 having his first ever road race meet. He's right in the thick of it. Pre 600, Kyle, you raced small bikes?
Yeah, I did. I raced dirt track for a couple of years until I was about 12, and then jumped on it was a Honda 150 back in the day. They used to run back 2007, 2008, the MRRDA series, and yeah, there was a good 25 or 30 of us up on the East Coast, and yeah, it made for a really good series. So did that for a couple of years, ended up finishing 3rd in my final year in that, and then yeah, jumped up to a Moto 3 bike.
Oh, getting tight at the front. Sorry, Kyle, I was just watching over start finish line. Jesse Wood still leads from Taran Ocean and Liam Waters, but I think Taran may have missed a gear there through the chute, and Liam Waters was looking for a run up the inside, and it got very, very tight. I think Taran Ocean there in P2 is certainly thinking he's got the win in sight, and barring anything going wrong, I'd say there's a very good chance of it.
I think what we were saying, waiting for the grip to come to you, and it looks like that's finally happened for him. He's starting to push on a little bit.
I was saying before that getting that feel out of your tyres is such an important thing. You cannot afford to just ride around having no idea what sort of grip there is. You've got to feel for it.
No, that's right. It's not like a car where you can slide and save it. Once these things go on the front, you usually don't get too much warning. But they seem to be doing a pretty good job at the moment. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, Taran Ocean's just put a move on Jesse Woods at the end of the back straight under brakes. Jesse's still all over the back of Taran coming through the sweeper. So it's going to be interesting to see the difference between the GP bike and the production bike here. I think the lightweight GP bike is showing its strength through the corners, but as you were saying, the production bike's probably an easier thing to ride. Its power delivery is probably smoother.
I saw that Liam was on a set of wets. I'd be interested to know what the other two are on it.
He was on wets, was he? Okay, that might explain, given that the track is not really wet.
Yeah, it might be hindering him a little bit more than what you would think.
But at the moment, Taran's pulling away reasonably comfortably.
The gap between second and third is staying pretty similar though, isn't it? Oh no.
I think Liam's probably going to have a bit of a lunge here under brakes, is he? Oh, I'll tell you what, there's going to be... somebody's going to have a big red hot go here in the last few laps. I think everyone wants a taste of the champagne today. Taran Ocean in the lead. He's not one to die wondering. He did say he's motivated and wants a bit of fun today, and he's showing that right now. Liam Waters all over the back of Jesse Woods now. And I've got to say, it's a great ride from Jesse on a production bike. Where's the next production bike? It's
oh, there goes Liam up the inside, up the top of the hill.
Jesse has a 20-second lead over the second production bike. So really a great ride.
No, that's really impressive. But like you say, the wet weather, it brings out, you know, a lot of different skills that you don't see in the dry.
Getting into some lap traffic, so this could change things up a little bit. Taran looking to go around the outside of Eleanor Renton. Gets that done pretty cleanly, and so too Liam Waters. Will Jesse Woods get through? It's no, he gets balked a little into turn one, trying to go around the outside of Eleanor and gets it done now. I don't know that it cost him that much time, but certainly didn't get through as cleanly as the other two. That and I think with the track drying a little, the GP bikes are starting to press home their advantage.
Yeah, it almost looks like you can see a little bit of a dry line into turn one now. And
so the remaining question then, Kyle, is can Liam Waters pull in Taran Ocean and make it 3 from 3?
Don't know how many laps we got.
2 left. So they'll be coming around to pick up the last lap board next time through.
Right. Looks like he's going to go pretty close, but yeah, very close.
All right, tell me, you're Liam Waters. Where are you going to do it? 1 lap to go.
Top of the hill, I'd probably do it.
No, Rod's rejoined. He's saying turn 1, so that's your turn gone, Rod. Kyle, you're saying top of the hill. I'm saying end of the back straight.
Yeah.
Does Taran know he's there? That's the question.
Yeah, I was thinking he was going to have a go up here, but don't know if he's going to be quite close enough.
Kyle, sorry, you're out. End of the back straight now is mine.
I like the way you wait for ours to be over to call yours.
Yeah, well, that's experience for you.
Yeah. Oh, well, here we go.
Oh, well, I got it wrong as well. It was middle of the back straight. Certainly got some speed, hasn't it? Plus much lighter weight as well. But is Taran going to have a crack? No, I think it's pretty much done. Good ride, Liam Waters.
Just got him on the last.
Good race and great ride from Taran Ocean too. And Jesse Woods pick up...
you got to feel sorry for Taran. He bloody leads 3/4 of the race, does all the donkey work, and then pipped on the line.
Absolutely,
almost.
but don't you see it so often?
Yep. Yep.
It's the advantages we're saying before of in a race like this, just being behind the leader to try and gauge the level of grip and the level of speed that you can carry. Saying before, what a great ride Heath Fielding's having. His first ever race meeting, up there in 5th, keeping it all together. At a 63.8, first time here. He's got to be happy with that.
3.8.5 wet. Not bad.
Not bad at all. Has raced motocross, so he's not unfamiliar with competition, but road racing, as we know, is quite different.
Yeah. Almost 180. Oh, it's been good to have a chat with you, Chris.
Oh, you're off already? Sick of our company?
Yeah. You smell a little bit.
It's the company I keep. I went out for dinner with you last night.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Well, we'll see about that. No, I better go make sure the guys are all right down in the pit. I haven't decided to do anything too drastic.
All right then. Well, look, good luck for tomorrow. Unless we can coax you to come back and have another chat tomorrow. We'll look forward to seeing you going around there on the big fluoro orange Ducati Panigale.
Sounds good.
See if you can make it 3 for 3.
That's the plan, but as you know, anything can happen.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it. Thanks,
All
Kyle. We might hand back to Rod.
Cheers. I'll talk to you soon.
So that only leaves 2 sprint races for the day. Next up is going to be our pre-modern Open, Historic Open and Formula 3. And then to round out the day will be Formula Basketball. Just a little bit of a shower there, Rod, just to make things interesting. I think it's not actually falling at the moment.
No, they're those conditions, Chris, that are in between, aren't they? Like the track looks pretty good, actually. I'd say you'd have to be on slicks, surely. You wouldn't want to go out on wets on that.
No, well, look, Kyle was just saying that Liam Waters was out on wets, so
Okay.
he managed to get the win. I didn't see that, but it's a tough call, isn't it?
Yeah.
You go out like this, you don't know if the rain's going to get heavier or lighter. It's really a roll of the dice.
It is. Certainly right now, looking at the track conditions from here, the track's got certainly droplets of water on it, but there's no standing water, and there's a lot of dry patches as well, so the smart money would be on slicks. But, the conditions can change very rapidly with a little bit more rain if it comes through, so, you're dead right, Chris. You've got to roll the dice, you've got to make the call, so once you're out there, you're out there. Just looking at everybody coming out to see if there's anyone with wet tyres on, so it's...
All slicks so far. Matthew Coward's got treaded race tyres, but no wet. I think you'd be mad to take wets out there at the moment.
Oh, you destroy them, yeah. It would be a waste of a good set of wets.
And there's also no advantage in having a treaded tyre because there's no lying water. It's all, it's just damp.
Yeah. Provided the slicks are hot and keep your temperature in them,
that's right.
They'll still grip very well in the conditions like this. Yeah, a bit of a flurry in the pits, Chris. I was a bit stuck down there for a little while.
Yeah, weather always does that. People thinking about what tyres they should have on. But it certainly mixed it up and it produced some very, very impressive rides from a few people. I think it was the right call from the clerk of the course to bring the Super Pole forward, because that would have been very difficult to do on a patchy track.
Yeah, no, it was a good call.
And particularly when showers are intermittent. One person can have different conditions to the next. It's not like the conditions are consistent throughout the whole 10 Super Pole.
Yeah, it could have been
places.
very mixed. We could have had half the field potentially on a dryish track, and then a bit of rain come in, and your top sort of 3 or 4 guys going out last could be pretty poorly affected if the conditions are changed.
That's right. Unlike a sprint race, everyone can adjust the conditions, but you can't do that in a Super Pole. So yes, as I say, I think that was a good decision. We got Super Pole out of the way safely. And we've seen some very good racing this afternoon. I must say that last Superbike race, there are only 3 people out there, but gee, great riding from all 3 riders. But Wade Schrader, who really cleaned up, rode very confidently in patchy conditions, and probably took his first race win.
Okay, I didn't see any of that race, unfortunately. I was busy with chores in the pits. So who actually went out? So
Wade, Schrader, Kane Bowman and Simon Price, and finished in that order, and all 3 riders very impressive. So to man sitting down in front of us, John O'Hughes in the 600 class, cleaned up absolutely, dominated.
Okay.
Went out there and put a 12-second gap on them. Matthew Long found his mojo later in the race and closed that gap down, but Jono just showed what he can do, and I think in this race, while the track is still a bit patchy, he's the man to watch. Racing now.
Underway, and good start from Larry Eaton. He's got the motor, the front wheel pouring at the sky, and he's going to go into second place into turn 1. Looks like Bob Sellers going to lead the pack around.
Yeah, but John O'Hughes right up on the back of this group now, unlike in previous races where he's had to fight his way through the field. He's right on the back of Larry Eaton and in front of Stuart Bugg, so I'd be giving this one to John O'Hughes, I think. Yeah,
we'll see over the next few laps, but he's had the benefit of just being out recently as well, so he's seen the track conditions. So
he also did almost a flat 60 in the last race.
Okay, was he on wets or slicks?
That was a dry race,
okay.
So they were on slicks. The only man to go faster in this group is Stuart Bugg, who did a mid to high 7 as he fires the 750 down the straight past Larry Eaton. He is on a pre-modern 750, of course, the ZXR 750. Right behind Bob Sellers, who's been getting the starts of the day, managing to hold the lead for the opening laps. But here's Stuart Bugg looking for a way through, and so too John O'Hughes looking to get through on Larry Eaton. Is he going to get it done up the inside? It gets a bit tight, but careful! Don't run the boss off the track.
That was very tight.
It was tight. It's a tough position to pass in there, isn't it? Things can. So, look at Jono around the outside of Larry through.
You always anyone that goes up the inside, they tend to run wide on the exit there. It's hard to make that move in turn 1 and not actually run wide, so you lose all your drive into 2. We see a lot of position swap again when that happens.
Yeah, you certainly do. Jono's struggling to get past Larry at the moment, so Larry's fighting back.
We won't see any struggle for Stuart Bugg down the straight here. It's got a lot more horsepower than the SV650.
Yeah, it certainly has.
And motors from about 20 metres back onto the straight, he's pulled about 10 or 15 metres in front of the SV650 quite easily. So, but through this part of the circuit, Bob's no mug on the SV650, and he's catching Stuart again.
John O'Hughes is getting quite impatient behind Larry Eaton. I think he's absolutely going to go through this time. And he needs to, and does. Larry looking to go back down the inside into turn 2, but now Jono holds that position and sets about trying to reel in the leaders. Stuart Bugg having claimed the lead from Bob Sellers. You see the extra horsepower there you're talking about, Rod, up the hill.
Yeah, it's very noticeable up the hill and on the main straight.
Bob Sellers still riding that SV650 very well, but as I come back straight, is where the 750 can stretch its legs. It really does pull away.
Yeah, it probably pulls 20-30 metres down the back straight every lap on Bob, so it's going to be hard for him to make that time up. He's only going to find it in the corners, so it doesn't have the raw speed or the horsepower required to get in the toe or use the straight line advantage. So it's all going to be on the brakes and in the corners.
Just checking lap times. They're certainly a little way off where they were. 62 versus flat minutes this morning. So that little bit of dampness in the track has certainly made them more cautious.
Yeah, Stuart Bugg, I think previous race was in the low 59s, so
that's right.
Certainly having a good look at the track conditions and not taking too many risks.
And I was just saying before, John O'Hughes did a flat minute. He's doing a 63.8, although he's got clear track now, so it will be interesting to see what Jono does this time around. He knows there's good grip there.
Yeah, it's all over now for Bob. Unfortunately, he's every lap down the back straight there. Stuart Bugg's just pulling another 20 or 30 metres each time. So
Yeah, you're right. He's got it well in the bag. Goes through to 62.6. Bob Sellers 63.3. And John O'Hughes 63.8. So well off what he was doing in the prior race. So either he's decided that it's a bit too hard to catch the leaders, or, as we were saying, the damp-ish track might be just causing those few issues for them.
yeah, it's hard to see where it is damp. From here, it looks pretty good. Certainly along the front straight here and the start-finish line. It's a little bit patchy, but it's pretty much dry.
It is, but as we were saying before, sometimes it's hard to pick it up as a racer just from the eye as to how damp it really is. We can see here that actually it's quite good. With a dark visor for these guys, they might be thinking there's still a few patches. You don't really know, but all we can say is the times are off a bit, so there's something holding them back.
Yes, and having, like yourself, raced around here when the conditions are not 100%, the grip can be quite unpredictable. It can go from reasonably good grip to very little grip with not too much surface water, especially with slick tyres.
As I was just discussing with Kyle Buckley, these sort of conditions are some of the ones that will catch you out. You don't see a little damp patch on the edge of the tyre, and next thing you can be launched to the moon. So you want to be pretty careful.
Yeah, Bob Sellers, he's making up time on from turn one right through to Calvin's. Each lap he pulls a bit back on Stuart Bugg, but unfortunately he loses that straight line speed again. So
yeah, number of laps counting down now. They'll be coming round to complete this lap. That'll leave 2 laps to run. But I'll tell you what, Bob's not out of this.
no, he's making up time on all the corners.
Let's have a look at the lap times through. There you go. 62.1 from Stuart Bugg and a 61.4 from Bob Sellers. So
Yeah,
Bob's thinking he's still a chance here, and I think he is.
he certainly is. He's got the speed through this part of the circuit. The bike is it turns well, it holds the line well, and he's able to get on the throttle with confidence. And he's almost right on his back wheel now.
Does Stuart know he's there?
I think he will very shortly.
Well, given Stuart's still 2.5 seconds off what he did in race 1, I think he's still thinking that the track is not dry.
The unfortunate part for Bob is where he needs the speed, he's not going to get it. So it's down here that he loses so much time, or track's position. So
you're right, it'll make it hard for him, but
he's got to get in front of him somewhere and then try to gap him. Otherwise, Stuart will simply just blast past him down the back straight on the last lap and take the win. So he's got to get you'd think from here with the
last lap.
So last lap board's out, so he's really needs to get him before the bottom of the hill. So it's probably a very big ask.
Yeah, but look, with Bob's experience, he'll know what he needs to do if he can do it. Look, I'm with you. I think it's going to be very challenging from here. But there he goes down the inside, at the bottom of the hill. He's just going to get passed up the hill again, surely.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit deflating because he's right now. He wishes he had another 20 horsepower.
That's right, but look, he had to do that if it was going to be a chance at all. As you were saying, he needed to do it before the straight.
So what he's going to need now is extremely big brakes.
Yeah.
It's a long way back there.
And Stuart knows he's there now. He doesn't get a chance to mug him on the line.
No, it's a big ask. But anyway, a great ride from both riders though, in these mixed conditions.
Look, absolutely. And
Stuart Bugg takes the win. So Bob Sellers, a great ride in second. Jonathan Hughes just holds Larry Eaton off at the line for third.
And Matthew Coward comes round to pick up P5. And fifth place bike, Ben Lydon, just entering the sweeper now to come round and round out the field. So it looks like the showers have stopped completely now, Rod.
Yeah, it's looking quite good again.
A little bit of a breeze blowing, but very light, given that they forecast quite strong winds this afternoon. Can only hope we'll be as lucky tomorrow that the wind stays away.
Yes. It's we've had some interesting 2-hour races over the last few years, affected by weather quite too many times, unfortunately.
Only the one race remaining, being our Formula Baskerville.
Yes, Chris, the Formula Baskerville, I missed the previous race, but how many, we have a few issues with the riders once again going under the 64 seconds?
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Ryan Chen managed to break out once, I think, and then backed it off. But as I was saying with Mark and I were discussing that, for somebody new to racing, they're not going to be too fussed about that. Seeing the checkered flag, it puts to rest a lot of self-doubt that I don't know how I'll go when I go racing, and to stay on board and put a race together and actually be the first to the flag is a good feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Time penalty or not. So Ben Lydon goes straight through from the pre-modern race into the Formula Baskerville. Graham Cunningham rolls out to the dummy grid, so to Chris Eaton. They would have noticed the last race, I think, that the times are pretty good. That gives you a good feeling to go out knowing that the grip is there, so you don't need to be too cautious.
Yeah, it looks like the rain's pretty much stopped. I can't see anything coming down from here, or is it just a slight bit maybe?
I think there might be, yeah, there is.
It's hard to tell from our angle here, but just looking out behind me, it looks like there is a slight a bit of rain coming through. So
yeah, it's coming from the northwest, so it's on one side of the commentary box only. There are a couple of slight drops falling, so once again, exactly what you don't want when you're sitting out there on slick tyres, seeing drops starting to fall. So hopefully for these guys, it'll pass and there won't be too much water, but yeah. As we've been saying, it just makes it difficult. You really have to go out and just feel your way. You can't just go and throw caution to the wind. So only the 4 bikes going out, braving the conditions. But as we say, it gives you the opportunity to take the checkered flag.
Yeah, they're being certainly being very tentative, so it looks probably as if we're getting a little bit more rain coming down. And you know, as a rider, Chris, you get that rain on your visor, and it's worse when you're actually moving on the bike than what it is. So a small shower can feel like a fairly big shower. So they're probably going to tiptoe around, have a look at the circuit, and hopefully, we won't have any issues.
That's what you hope. I think Ben Lydon's probably in the box seat here, coming straight out of the previous race. Admittedly, it was slightly drier in that race, but he'd already have a fairly good feel for what sort of pace feels comfortable. He could back that out a little bit, but the other guys, I think their last time out was on a completely dry track, so they're going to take a couple of laps just to acclimatise. So I'd be saying that Ben is a good chance here of running away with it. In fact, a very good chance given that Ryan Chen hasn't come out.
Just trying to see if Matt Allen, he was talking about putting a wet front in and leaving the dry tyre in the rear, so just coming up to the line now and wonder whether he did that or swapped it back. Looks like he's got
It's a dry tyre.
It's a dry tyre, I think. It's hard to tell from here. Yeah, it's definitely not a wet.
Well, ready for a start. I'd be thinking Ben Lydon. It's got a good chance here. racing, and Matt Allen got the bike away the best, but the horsepower of Ben Lydon's CBR 600 will see him going to turn 1 first. The field reasonably condensed there, Rod, but Ben Lydon will actually head the field down through turn 2.
Yeah, they're certainly feeling their way around. It's looking, conditions are starting to get a little bit slippery.
It's Chris Eaton in second from Graham Cunningham, and Matt Allen last, but they're all pretty well bunched up except for Ben Lydon, who's now extending his lead a little bit as they accelerate up the hill.
As you predicted, having the benefit of just being out on the previous race, so putting it to a good advantage.
It certainly does help just to be more familiar with coming straight out of the previous race. As I said, the rain has started to fall a little more than it was, but I'll tell you who is riding nicely here is Chris Eaton. He's not being dropped off much at all, so he might be quite enjoying these conditions. Run a little bit wide there in the sweeper, probably got in a bit hotter than he hoped. Graham Cunningham actually now looking to go around the outside of Chris Eaton, but on the little 250 Aprilia compared to the CBR 600. The bigger capacity bike gave it the don't argue.
Well, that's going to happen every time, especially once they've pointed up the hill or down the back straight. Be frustrating on those little bikes having, being in that situation where you're faster in the corners, but you just can't get past.
That's absolutely right. Drops continuing to fall here, so the track we can see is getting darker. And as Rod was saying, the riders out there are going to be seeing that as well, and it's going to be wondering, oh gee, how much grip is there? Ben Lydon out in front, pretty comfortably by himself, but that's one of the hardest gigs, as Kyle was saying, leading a race where the rain's starting to fall, you don't have a guide.
Yeah, it's not easy. Definitely not easy. You've got to make the pace and keep pushing, and you just got to keep going for that feel and hope that conditions just don't go that little bit south, and that's when you end up on the ground very quickly.
Yeah, we don't want to see that. Graham Cunningham looking to put the 250 down the inside of Chris Eaton into turn 2 and gets it done. Not much at all between second, third and fourth. They're actually having quite a good dice there. In fact, Graham on the smaller bike is getting through the tight stuff quite well on the slightly damper track there, Rod.
Yeah, certainly is. And Matt Allen on the little 250, he was looking to go around the outside there of Chris Eaton, but as soon as the bikes were upright there, there's a massive difference in straight line speed. So,
tell you what though, Graham Cunningham has just found a lot of speed. He's pulled well clear of the two guys behind him. He's pulled out a good couple of seconds between Suckers and Calvin's, and not that far at all behind Ben Lydon. So Graham Cunningham could be our the third race winner in Formula Basketball for the day. No chance of breaking out in slightly damper conditions. So
yeah, he just set the fastest lap of the race, Graham. So he's into the 67s, a high 67 there.
How many laps to go? 5 laps to go. I'm thinking, barring any issues.
Yeah, I'm with you. He's the way he's going here. He's a full second and a half quicker than Ben Lydon on that last lap. So
unless Ben rallies after he gets some pressure, it's just the extra speed that Graham's carrying. I think he's looking pretty strong.
Yeah, I can't quite see the times here, but I think on that last lap, I think Ben did a 68.6, and it looks like Graham did a 67.9, I think. So 0.6 or 0.7 of a second. So what is he, about a second behind now?
It's certainly looking closer, visually closer, but does Ben know he's there? That's the question. Yep, down to 1.1 seconds. What have we got? A 68 flat from Ben Lydon and a 67 flat. Oh, all over the back of Ben Lydon now, down through the S's, so looking for a way through on the lighter bike. A little bit like the previous race, he's actually riding around the outside of him. That's a nice way to do it.
He's obviously very comfortable in those conditions.
Now Ben's looking down at his bike, actually.
Okay.
Hopefully he doesn't have a problem, because he's still in with a chance here. But he needs to do something pretty quickly, because Graham Cunningham is on the charge.
Yeah, well, he put last lap Ben put in. That was his best lap of the race. So
I've got a feeling I just saw Ben's hand out as if he was going to come in.
it looks like he's definitely got an issue. He's rolling in that back straight.
He's looking down at his bike. It's certainly a problem. So he's almost stopped. That's a real shame for him. In fact, has he completely stopped?
He certainly has.
Right at the top of the pit entry road.
You think would he have run out of fuel?
Well, no, he's looking at his bike like around the chain and sprocket of the rear wheel. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it has started to surge and run out of fuel. But further back, we've got Matt Allen now all over the back of Chris Eaton. Matt looking to go around the outside as they drive up the hill. He won't accelerate the 600. Graham Cunningham's the man. Way out in front. He's decided these conditions are for him.
I'm not sure why he's still at the top of pit lane entrance there, Ben Lydon. You'd think he'd attempt to move the bike off the track. He's I know he's not on the racing line there, but he's just stationary on the track there, looking at his bike. Yeah,
look, I don't know. He probably feels like he's well on off the track to try and check it out and see what's going on. But it's obviously not running, so you might be right. It might be petrol. Matt Allen looking for a way through on Chris Eaton. This is
the snail and the hare.
It is, but getting into the part of the track that the lighter 250 of Matt's is going to have an advantage. So looking to go around the outside through the S's, but as we always say, it's a difficult pass to put on. And just as we were saying with Bob Sellers on the SV650, when you're dicing against a more powerful machine, you've got to put the pass on early.
Yeah, you've got to, exactly, and unfortunately you can see the difference up the hill. The 250 versus the 600, the difference is huge. So for Matt, he's going to have to do it on the brakes if he's got any chance to get into second position.
Well, Graham Cunningham just at the end of the back straight now, he'll come around and pick up the last left board. So barring any issues for Graham, very nice ride, and hopefully we'll secure the victory. But further back, we've still got Matt Allen all over the back of Chris Eaton. But as we keep saying, Rod, he's got to do it pretty early, and he's looking to go around the outside of him through the chute, but then the 600 gets into stride and pulls away from the little 250. So I don't know. Matt Allen, what's he going to do?
He's got to put it into turn 2 here in front of him.
I think you're right.
It's the only way he's probably going to have a chance, but it's going to be hard from there. He's trying to go around the outside again, but there's no room there to pull the move off. So bottom of the hill, he'll probably stay on the outside like he did the previous lap, and then he's just got 0 horsepower compared to the other bike to even have a chance. So, but that last lap there, or the start of that last lap, Chris, he made some time around the sweeper, so if he can get in a little bit closer into the back straight this lap, he may have a chance.
That's his only remaining chance.
It's only a remaining chance. So Graham Cunningham is he's on the last run on the last lap around the sweeper to take the checkered flag.
I'd say he's almost enjoyed that race.
He'll be pretty pleased with that, I reckon, Chris.
I reckon he definitely will be. Great ride. Well done, Graham Cunningham.
Okay, Matt Allen's got a real chance here. He's got to get a really good run here and just keep that thing nailed all the way through.
And he has. I reckon he's going to do it. Oh, not quite. Actually standing on the peg, he's putting his head over the screen to try and make the difference, but no.
That wouldn't even... It doesn't work, Matt. It works on the transponder, unfortunately, mate. The transponder's on the bike, not on your body. But it was good effort, though.
It was a good effort.
Points for trying, so...
Well, the weather almost held, Rod. At least the wind stayed away, and just some light showers here this afternoon. But that will conclude racing for day 1. here at.
Or day 2, you could almost say.
Well, yes, I guess if you say it's yesterday was practice, but the first day of racing.
First day of racing.
So all the big races to come tomorrow. We've got more sprint races in the morning, and of course we have the 3 feature races being the reverse grid handicap, the lights 20 lap feature race, and the big one being the Motorworks Michelin 2 hour.
Which kicks off at 2 p.m. So always a good. It's been a great event for a number of years. Always good to watch. Hopefully the weather stays kind to us, and we see some good competitive racing tomorrow in the 2 hour.
Yeah, I should say as well that given the weather forecast, there is the chance that the program might be moved around. So keep checking in, just so that you don't miss the 2 hour, just in case it is actually moved forward. But at this stage, it is still scheduled for 2 p.m. With that, Rod, we've been up here talking all day. I think it's time we had a break.
Yep.
We'll sign off for the day and look forward to coming back tomorrow morning to begin race day 2.